Hello everybody. I've been putting this video off for a little while. I just wanted to share a little bit of my experience, strength, and hope when it comes to alcoholism, drug addiction, and mental illness. I definitely don't really like to talk about the problem. What is the problem? The problem is me, and how I used to live. And I can assure you that there is a solution. I just want to tell you what it was like just briefly from about 16 to about 23. It was constant party, drink, drug almost every day. It was constant episodes of my mental illness, bipolar 1 disorder, depressions, manias, racing thoughts, erratic behavior. It was constant, institutionalized. I'd be drinking and drugging, inducing myself into psychosis, into severe manias with delusions. I'd have to be hospitalized and medicated. It was jails. It was overdoses. It was just a living nightmare. I think I was hospitalized about 20 times in the course of those, 6 to 8 years. Now, and that's how I live. So how did I get out of that? I've been completely 100% sober for 3 years, and I haven't had the slightest episode of my bipolar disorder in over 3 years. Haven't been hospitalized. I will say, I do need my medication, but how have I gone to that, being hospitalized every other month, to being completely happy, joyous, and free, and living a life beyond my wildest dreams? How do I do that? And the solution is very simple, and it's a spiritual solution, because the problem is me. If you know anything about alcoholism and drug addiction, I had to get sober in order to gain my mental stability. I had to be sober, but I couldn't do it because I couldn't stay stopped. I'd want to stay stopped, but then the thought that blocks out all other thought, and I would be right back at it. One temptation, one this. I might go 2 weeks, 1 month, 3 months without drinking or drugging, and then I'd be right back at it, right to my bottom. One drink takes me out every time. So I just cannot drink or drug like normal people. I just can't do it. I have that physical allergy. When I consume one, it takes over, hijacks my brain, and I'm on a spree until I hit my bottom. So what has happened? Well, the solution to my problem and the root cause of alcoholism and drug addiction is extreme selfishness and self-centeredness, driven by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-pity, and self-seeking. So the problem is me. Now, how do I live this new life? I had to undergo a complete psychic change, a complete different way of thinking and way of living, or you could call it a spiritual experience. Sometimes it's sudden, sometimes it's a learning variety where it happens over a period of time, but it is as a direct result of working the 12 steps out of the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, utilizing the hiatus format under Big Book Step Study supervision. Now, I just said a lot there, and what I'm going to say is I was in regular AA. I don't knock it. It did its purpose for me, but I was in regular AA for 2 years. I did not touch a drink or a drug, and that's what I did. I went to meetings, and I not drink. 2 meetings a day. Not drink, go to meetings. That's what you hear in regular AA. I didn't half-ass some steps with my sponsor, blah, blah, blah. But at 2 years sober, I was absolutely miserable. Completely head case, nut job, lunatic. My relationships were failing. Nobody liked me. I was a dry drunk. I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. I had anxiety. I was full of fear and depression. I was at a jumping off place at 2 years sober. I was either gonna put a bullet in my head, or I was headed for a terrible, life-destroying relapse. And that's when I found Big Book Step Study. And what it is the most official way you can possibly go through the steps. It's hardcore. In order to speak at the Big Book Step Study meetings, you have to go through the process, which is the 12 steps, with an official Big Book Step Study sponsor. So that took a big shot at my ego because I had 2 years clean in regular AA. How come I can't speak at these meetings? The truth is I didn't know a damn thing. Regular AA has been watered down over the past 20, 30, 40 years. It's been watered down so much that it actually only has a success rate of about 17%. Big Book Step Study, having gone through the process with Big Book Step Study, has a 98% success rate. And that's exactly what I needed because I was suffering at 2 years clean. In regular AA, I was suffering from untreated alcoholism. I couldn't live with it. I couldn't live without it. And that's when I started going through the process with Big Book Step Study. And immediately after doing so, working the steps with the Big Book Step Study sponsor, things started to change. Miraculous things started to change. I had a new employer. I had a new director. I was the agent, and it's a process. It's a lot of work. You know, I'm not going to get into the steps because I'm going to do a step a day for the next 12 days. I'm going to do one step every day and walk you through the process. But it completely transformed my life. Regular AA got me clean. Big Book Step Study transformed my life, and now I live a life beyond my wildest dreams. I know a new freedom and a new happiness. I'm comfortable in my own skin. I can go and do anywhere. I'm completely immune to, I'm in a place of neutrality when it comes to the drink. I live in a fourth dimension of existence today. Like I'm just on fire. I'm 6 classes away from my college degree. I'm helping people. I'm changing lives. People that I'm helping now have years of sobriety. It's just the best life and best design for living that I've ever known. And I just want to say, if you haven't heard or tried Big Book Step Study, it's Bbss. Find the nearest meeting and see what you think about it, because I'm the real deal alcoholic and I need the real deal treatment for alcoholism. And it has given me a life beyond my wildest dreams. So tomorrow I'll be doing step 1, part 1. And I'll be looking forward to talking to you guys tomorrow. Thanks.